anyway, and they were wearing me out.
I just wish that there was just a little more humanity. Like, and I'm not saying that it's just like, I really fundamentally, strongly dislike something about the outrage culture and the willingness to like forego the fact that she's a human being and like there's something about people that they believe that human beings are perfectible. Like, and that
perfectible. How
yeah,
so?
and I think that this is something the left has sold. The idea that it's perfectible, that you can like defeat racism with the right person in office, that you can like, you know, defeat sexism, that you can defeat misogyny, and this is not possible. You can't defeat these things. Bad things happen because human beings are constantly learning. We're flawed.
Right, but don't you think that ultimately the direction that we're all moving in as human beings, if you looked at human beings from 3,000 years ago to human beings of today, we're moving in a general direction of a much more positive culture.
Right,
and
but it doesn't feel like that.
Does to me.
To me, it does too.
Racism is negative. We both agree, right?
Right, 100%. But it can't be depleted.
But don't you think it can be shunned out of society slowly but surely if people realize there's repercussions for racism?
Repercussions, but then you're operating from a fear. That doesn't mean that you're not racist because you're afraid to say it.
No, but people realize that, you know, it hurts people's feelings. It causes all sorts of issues and. No.
Human beings, especially when they're in, and I've learned this all the time, when they're in a spot where they're fundamentally unhappy, it's very easy for them to you know, lash out.
It is.
And so if you find someone who's just miserable, right, who doesn't, you know, have, I don't know, the career, the girl, whatever it is, that person is much more likely to say something that's vitriolic. And that's the human condition. Like, you're not happy, so you lash out at someone else.
I agree with you, but don't you think that human beings in general are less racist today, certainly less racist publicly in America than 1950.
Oh my gosh, yes,
right?
no questions asked.
So
America
68 years ago.
Yeah.
If we go back 68 years ago, the world has changed for the better today.
100% in terms of like the social progress that we've made, especially in America.
Do you think it's possible that 68 years from now we could at least come very close to eradicating racism?
That's a very good question. So if you're talking about just America?
Yes. Well, let's just go with America because let's just wrap it up because I don't know what the fuck's going on in China or you know, wherever.
I don't know.
There's some places where racism is just deep.
Yeah, it's
seated, and they
deep seated.
accept
It's never going to go away.
Yeah.
So that's why I say like racism
I don't know, never go away
because they change it up. Because then they'll say Americans are racist towards Muslims, right? When you say that you're going to do the Muslim ban from certain countries, and that's also considered like racism, and not just like, you know, national security. Right. So everything sort of becomes racism. So the problem with racism is nobody knows what it means anymore.
Well,
everything's racist. You could the Starbucks situation, which to me was not racist, was racist. Is that racism?
The Starbucks
we have
that
to define
wasn't
racism.
Racist. You don't think that was racist?
No. I don't think that was racist. I live in Philly.
So you think if those were white dudes hanging out in Starbucks, not buying anything, just sitting down, minding their own business, that they would have got fucked with the same exact energy?
So let's play a different picture. So first off, I live in Philadelphia. I'm not kidding. I wonder if sometimes when I'm there, I'm like, I wonder if any white people live here. Like Philadelphia is 44% black, not just excluding Hispanic, 44% black. It's unbelievable. Everyone who works in my building, everyone's black. It's like the weirdest thing. I'm like, this is a very black city, right? Mm-hmm. It's a bizarre city to be outright racist in. Like, you're dealing with black people all day. So you remove that, and then you think, to me, and I've seen this happen tons of times, is it possible, right, that this guy was just on like a power trips happen. I've seen it happen at the most bizarre places, and I'm like, all right, like at the airport the other day, like this woman gave me absolute hell at TSA. I mean, it was like, I can't even recapitulate. It was just absolute hell. I could have walked away and said she was racist and she randomly selected my bag 22 times to go through and made me go through and miss my flight, right? Or she was having a bad day and she was power tripping, you know? And when people have these little positions, it's like that movie where they go doorman, you know, like, and they have these little positions like the manager of Starbucks, and you're having an off day, and these two kids that could have easily said, oh, I'll buy a cookie, right? Like, common decency, by the way, even for me, if I go use a bathroom at Starbucks, I'll just freaking buy a cookie or a little like juice box or water, just something that makes me feel, all right, it's a little more civilized if I just buy something, even though I'm just here to use the bathroom. Like, so on both ends.
What if you got to pee real bad and there's a line?
Right, you go and then I'll probably
Buy
sprint to the
something
bathroom and then
afterwards.
buy something afterwards. I do that. It's like a natural thing that like it's
well,
a little
now,
more.
because of these guys, you could just be a homeless
I know,
person,
it's
take a
insane.
shower in the toilet.
It's because of outrage culture. It's an outrage culture. It's insane. Like my cousin who's half Mexican, half black, had to go through this training and she works for Starbucks. It's to me, it's just insane. It's like, is it possible that this guy was power tripping? These kids were being like, they could have just bought something and it could have been resolved. But you have two people that are being stubborn and taking it to as far as possible, talk about like hall monitor, like, these are the rules, and it just got too far.